here we are, party people. I bring you yet another episode of Voice of the Valley, episode 18. I can't believe it. I don't know what I'm doing out here. I just keep going and going and going. And today I have a special friend and guest on the show. Sir, introduce yourself.
My name is Bill Skillz, digging in the crates, 91.3, 12 to 3, you know how it be.
Yes, sir. I was almost going to let him open up the show because I wanted you to hear the voice and you would have known who it is. But for all you Poughkeepsie heads and all you people abroad listening to 91.3 on Sundays, 12 to 3, this was the dude. So welcome to the show, brother.
Yes, sir.
It's nice to have you out here, you know. It's nice to have you. But as I say, FinallyTV, Voice of the Valley, episode 18. So subscribe. Stop playing around. Let's go. I want to get the subscriptions up over 300 by the end of the year. So I need your help. So let's go. So without further ado, man, let's get into it.
It's about time, right?
Finally.
Yeah.
Before we get into the interview and the whole nine, how many years on 91.3 with your show?
About 25, man. Maybe just pushing 25.
25 years.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
You know.
Yeah, listeners that ain't even that old.
I know, man. Absolutely. Yeah, man. For real.
You know?
Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah,
no, it's a beautiful thing.
Yes, sir. But let's get into it. You have a lot of listeners. You got a lot of fans out there. So let's let them know who Bill Skillz is beyond just the fact that you're a crate digger.
Yeah.
You know, and you like that funky soul, jazzy, hip hop,
just
gritty
music.
You know,
hip hop
in general. You know, so let's get into it, man.
Let's go.
So where were you born and how'd you end up in the Hudson Valley?
So I guess I'm pretty much from the Hudson Valley my whole life. I was born in Kingston, but raised like Red Hook area. Went to school in Red Hook. Moved to Poughkeepsie like right after high school. So I've been in the Hudson Valley pretty much like, you know, my whole life. But you know, Poughkeepsie's where I've been pretty much since like '92 to hold it down for a while. But yeah, you know, back roads of Red Hook, Pine Plains. So I went to Pine Plains. That's where I graduated from. So shout to the Bombers. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
absolutely.
So you probably just set off a bomb in somebody's head. They would swore to God you were from the city.
Something like
you're
that.
From the middle of Brooklyn.
Yeah.
You know?
No, absolutely. So far from the city to a degree in certain aspects, but Pine Plains, and when I graduated, I was going to clubs like my senior year, Let's Dance. And then I've been hanging in Poughkeepsie since '91.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, and because we're such good buddies, I'm also good friends with your wife, Stacy.
Yeah, we're family.
You know.
Yeah, we're family.
You know.
Family.
So shout out Stacy. You know, and the boys.
Twin City, Sir Benjamin, King J. Absolutely.
There you go. There you go. So yeah. You guys might hear that on the radio all the time that, you know, he's a family man, you know, and, you know, two boys at home taking care of that. And, you know, sometimes I think people don't even realize, they just think DJ and he's just the DJ life. But, you know.
If you listen to the show, like, family's first, you know, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know, love my family, my boys. They into hip hop, the same thing. One wants to DJ. They both MC. You know, 10th graders and Spack and Kill. So, hands full. Twin City, twin boys. So yeah, double trouble.
I like it. I like it. So let's talk about why you're here today. You know, what is it? Why did I tell Bill Skillz to come here today? What do you do?
You know, have a college radio show, but you know, it spans further than college. You know, been doing it for a while, and you know, just to give them an insight on inside scoop. You know, what I do, what I've been doing, where I come from, you know, a preview look inside.
Yeah. And what I'm looking for is Bill Skillz, a DJ.
Word,
you
absolutely. Know? You know, but yeah, it's come a long ways, man. I have a lot of people, like I said, come so far from the city of DJing. Like, you know, I grew up like playing sports and baseball and basketball and all that other stuff, but music was not like the first thing. You know? It wasn't until I came to Poughkeepsie that I started like really, like I said, I was not really a hip hop head. I wasn't like a DJ growing up in high school, coming from Red Hook and all that. It wasn't really until I came to Pine Plains, honestly, to where it's crazy, is that's where I really got my love of hip hop, was in Pine Plains. To be far from the city. 80s. you know, going to Pine Plains, listening to like Wham and stuff like that, and that commercial stuff.
Yeah.
That's what you grow up on in this area. And yo, the first day, there's a dude who like walks me to my locker. Big shout out to JJ. He's asking me if I break dance.
Right.
He's like, yo, you break dance? And this is like 80s. I'm like, nah, man. He's like, yo, we break dance at lunchtime.
Like the movie?
I was like, what? You break dance? And I was like, okay, sure. And I had seen some of the movies back then, so not coming from the city, you're like, what's this going to be about? And, yo, these kids held it down. Howlin' Howley, J-Rock, General G. These kids were pop locking, doing things, and that was like, the dancing and the energy was like, yo, this hip-hop culture's like kind of powerful. This is awesome. And they went away and got into other music. I kept pushing forward into the culture and was like, wow, this hip hop is crazy. I just kept doing the love for it, and got out of high school, and like I ran up with a crew in Poughkeepsie, and they were hip hop junkies. And you know, when you find luckily friends that actually are in the same lane that you are, and it just opens the door of, I went from being a fan of it, where now I like wanted to be part of it. Big shout out to COA, my man Yaz, Yasul, Res Ones, TC, everybody knows TC, Paul Nice, like all these guys I like were hanging out with at clubs and became my best friends. And I'm starting to see DJing on the side, where I was like, I always liked the music. But now I'm seeing Paul Nice DJ. I'm seeing other people DJ, and I'm like, this is kind of what I want to do.
Okay.
Like right there.
Okay.
Like I was like, I want to be a part of this and get turntables, and just luckily enough, you know, had connections to Vassar College through some of my friends. Paul Nice was DJing up there. A lot of cats, DJ Eves was DJing up there. A lot of cats were already up there that were in my friend group that I was able to get exposed to the station.
Gotcha. So let's rewind a little bit, and you kind of touched on it, saying that you realized the passion, you know, after seeing a Paul Nice and going to the clubs. When was that? How long ago was that?
That was 94.
Okay.
92, 90.
Okay.
Right there.
So you're realizing at that point, okay, I'm gonna get some equipment. You know, how did that all come? Like, what happened? You get it up?
So first, like, I always wanted to DJ, but I still didn't have the dough to like pull equipment together like that. So I bought one 1200 from my man Animation. Shout to him. And my other roommate had another turntable. I had a mixer, so we shared an apartment. 218, the penthouse. Big shout out. And so that's how we put it together. He would buy his records, I buy my records. But I was always into the production time. Like in the 90s, the production was so great that like I still liked to DJ, but I think I wanted to be a producer first. So I was grabbing samples. Shout out to Paul Nice, because he was the dean teaching us. I wanted to make beats. So I was grabbing like sample stuff and finding out stuff. But I was also grabbing hip-hop 1209 from the 90s.
Like 12 inches.
12 inches and some albums of dope stuff. And that's kind of like where I started DJing, because I finally was able to, but I still kind of figured like I didn't think I wanted to be a club DJ. I just kind of like wanted to grab samples and hip-hop and stuff like that.
Gotcha. So that ends up culminating to what you were leading up to, saying that you ended up going to the radio station. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So now we're going back 25 years or about 26
about
years.
That. About,
right? Right. So
maybe 30, because maybe 30.
That's what I'm saying. You didn't get your show
so
right away.
I didn't get my show right away.
You know? So tell us about that experience and being brought up to VKR and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I also, when I came to Poughkeepsie in the 90s, VKR already had a presence of hip-hop DJs. Joey T, Shock and Animation,
Ease, right?
Yep, Ease,
DJ
Vince. So like when all these other pioneers had stopped their shows, now it was Ease and Vince, and they had their show for a really long time. Ease was 12 to 3, Vince was 3 to 6. I was listening, and I've known Ease for a long time, so I was listening one afternoon, and I could tell he was having radio complications. And so I'm calling him in. He was not answering the phone. I'm like, what's going on? There has to be a problem. And I lived like right down the road. So I jumped in my car, drove to Vassar, and was like, yo, you all right? You good? And he was like, yo, come here. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So I go and he's like, yo, I need help. Can you like run these drops or do this, that, and the third? And I was like, okay, sure. I'm like, I do home production, but I'd never really done radio yet. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So I started doing that, and like I kind of swung right into it naturally. And he was like, yo, what are you doing? You want to like do this with me full time? And I was like, okay. And he had a really big show on Saturdays.
Yeah, he did.
And it was big in the area. Vince's show was huge, and it was 93, 95 maybe.
Yep. Yeah. Shout out Monster at Record City.
Monster.
He used to work all day on Saturdays, and that's what we would have on all day.
Rest in peace, Bones.
Yeah.
Shout out to the whole crew.
Yeah.
Jason Peterson, Leno.
Yeah.
So it was like a staple in the area.
Yeah. Big
so
time.
to be a part of that, like, I was just on air production and radio like personality. And I loved it, but I knew how to do production, so it was easy for me to like do all those things. And that kind of got me in the door so I was doing his show for a while and learning it, but like still more on the production, but I also, he's great at radio. I learned all my radio stuff from Ease. He's a great radio person.
Hold up real quick, Bill. If you don't know who DJ Ease is and you live in this area and you claim you know hip hop, they don't know hip hop. They don't. If you're 30 or older and you don't know who DJ Ease is and you're from the area, I can't. FinallyTV can't help you. Bill Skillz can't help you.
I was blessed to be sitting. I've been in clubs with him. I've been in house parties. I've done radio with him for like 10 years, like standing next to him. He's the full package. He can blend his ass
Shout out
off.
DJ Ease.
First turntablist in the Hudson Valley, like to be on live radio. He was ill.
And so I have two favorite DJs from the area, right? It's Bill Skillz and none other than DJ Kirk Crazy. And go figure, both of them will look at DJ Ease and say, that's the guy.
That's the guy we learned from.
So
Paul is my first mentor. Ease is my second, and I couldn't ask for two better.
Monumental right there. That's a good one. Oh, shout out Kirk Crazy though, man.
Kirk Crazy was always the future because he was younger than us, and we would see him in high school.
And he was nasty, and he stayed that way.
From high school on, I knew he was going to be a beast.
Yeah, man. You'll see him soon at the Voice of the Valley showcase at TVR, November 3rd. Okay.
DJ Scratch.
So, aside from that, let's keep moving on in this, and I'm just looking at these questions.
So that's how I got my show, was through Ease. Doing his show, house DJ samples and 90s music. I was doing my show like in my crib. And was like, yo, can I ask the program director for a slot? And that's how I got my slot. Was
it always 12 to 3 on Sunday?
No, I started out, so I asked the program director, Mike Morella, and he gave me, I came with the jazz. It wasn't even hip hop. They already had hip hop shows, so I came in with the original samples. They gave me like a Friday slot during the summer, like for 2 hours. And then I would only do a summer show. And then I would go away for the whole season, and then I'd come back.
Seasons to come back
and
it
was, I would come back for a while, and then I was like, man, it wasn't fun. And then they eventually gave me a full-time slot, and then it was on.
It's been 12 to 3 for a minute, like on Sunday.
It's been 12 to 3 for a long time. That's where it all began.
Like since I've been listening to it, it's been 12 to 3.
They gave me there was nothing available on Sundays but jazz, and they put me in on jazz. A year or two came in, I was like, now it's time to bring the turntables out and form Digging in the Crates.
So easy to quantify the progression, and what you've done to kind of materialize the dream of wanting to be a DJ full-time. This is what you do full-time. You're a full-time DJ, and that's of recent.
Last 2 years or so.
And that's just another thing to everybody out there aspiring to do other things in life. Sometimes you got to break that 9-to-5 chain and just
make the jump
and just pursue and just go, and have a little faith in yourself, and you can make it happen. So tell us a little bit more, because it's not just the radio show. The radio show you do for free, in case nobody knows, right? Do they know that it's even...
Maybe some do,
you know,
I believe.
But this is free of course. It's free school.
It's free. It's
it's
free
public access
knowledge.
school.
Tutelage, yeah.
You know?
Free education from a higher learning class of Vassar, which is very expensive at Vassar, and we give you free education on Sundays.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if people know that, you know. That
it's a college radio station. It's community ran, and they don't pay us. I've been up there 25 years, you know, working a full-time job, and then going up there on Sundays, you know.
And then doing a wedding.
Doing weddings, all that, you know, so, like, yeah, you know, the family gets it.
Yeah, so
big supporters.
So, kind of outlining that whole thing of what you got going on. So, working with MSB as I do, you know, Music Speaks Volumes, shout out John Kilmeyer, you know, but doing that, being, you know, full-time dad, you know, and then doing the show. That's what you got going on right now. Some of these local places are lucky enough to hire you, though. So you want to name a couple places you've been?
Big shout out to my first time coming out, Quinn's.
Okay.
I've been at Denning's Distillery. Big shout out to Draft Industries, Beer and Barber also as well. Had me out there. Oak Vino in Beacon. Beacon loves me. I love Beacon. Big shout to Beacon. And of course, my man Breakbeats got the Vinyl Room TVR and doing stuff in there. So
sure. All good stuff. So I think on the behalf of all the listeners out there and all the stuff, you know, we just want to say thank you.
I appreciate it.
You know, I've gotten away from it a little bit with the Voice of the Valley and talking about certain things. And one thing I've gotten away from, and I need to get back to it, is, you know, giving people flowers while they can smell them is the term,
right?
You know, so I don't want something to happen and then all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, Bill Skillz with this great
on a
DJ,
memory tip. On a memory tip,
you know? So just want to say, you know, thank you for the show. Thank you for the tutelage.
Thanks
you know?
for listening. Man.
So you've talked a little bit about inspirations for all this stuff. You know, naming, you know, Paul Nice and Ease and the club atmosphere and just hip hop in general. You know, when you focus in on wanting to be that guy behind a turntable, though, you know, and making the sound, you know, making it come alive with sound. Who's your inspiration for that? What's your inspiration for that?
You know, I would hear other great DJs blend or mix, but as you're listening, you're hearing it yourself and saying like, oh, that's awesome, or that's bad, or how can I recreate that, or maybe do it yourself and come up with totally different things, hearing just every DJ available that's out, you know, just to critique on everybody from old school.
And when you say that, listening to how DJs like might go into production or something, how they might blend something in, it's crazy because a lot of it is just pitch control, right? With at least early on, it was just how fast or slow are you doing this to make it work? You know what I mean? And like,
and does your ear process
you know what I mean?
How quickly do you recognize the pitch?
You know, nowadays it's a little different because, you know, you got controllers now and you can like do.
You can look at the number and you can almost sync it if you cheat. But like I've never ever put the sync button on any controller or thing I've ever used.
I have, and it stays on.
I never ever. You know, it might give you the number. It might give you the number and it enables you to be quicker. But like, you know, hey, we came up on records where you had to listen for your ear and be like, that's really where I think a quick blend comes from, is like not even looking at anything, just like hearing two songs, you're like, well, that's this, that.
And I wasn't even touching on that, but that's so true. Like, if you guys all know, he's a blend master. Like his deal, he could cut a little something, you know.
I hold my own,
you know, but it's more about the blending.
The transition.
And to that point, what you were just saying, you know, it does make more people more of a DJ because everything electronics in front of them, they can see it visually, they can see it.
They can tell
you know what I mean? But I know, and like for all you DJs that have never DJ'd without Serato, I challenge you to set up 2 turntables and a mixer.
And get a bag of records and just jump through them and hear them. Let's see how quick and how well that goes for you.
You'll be able to test your ear for music.
That dude will be on a record for a whole time. Like, damn, the record's almost over?
You know, it's difficult.
That's not the record.
At least it's difficult for me. You know what I mean? I know some of you it comes easy, but
once you, like they say, like once you've started on record, and if you moved into this digital age, it's like a present. It makes you better. Yes. It makes you better, quicker, faster, stronger.
Right.
You know, these kids that just grew up on it, like that's all they know. You know, and now it's a challenge because they only know a certain thing.
Right.
Like they can't blend anything. They're riding the same BPMs all night long.
Right. And that's what I was kind of touching on earlier, is that the controllers now enable them to be a better DJ because there's effects, there's you know
everything.
What I mean? Everything. The echo out. You know what I mean? Like you could just stop it and make it sound cool. And all you did was just stop the music, but it sounds so cool.
I don't even use most of those effects and all those things. If you could just blend 2 records and make that thing pop, you know, I get a lot of people like, man, you're like one of the, like, I haven't heard DJs in a long time blend 2 songs for like a verse, like a straight, maybe a blend, and like nobody rocks it for more than like 1, 2, 3. Let me get out of it. Yeah. So it's just the old school art. That was the first thing I was taught. I was always a lover of turntablism and stuff like that, but Paul was the one that was like, yo, work on your blending, your transitions, because that's how you're gonna rock parties. That's how people are gonna hear you all the time. And you know, God bless to the cutters also as well. But if I'm out and about, like, I don't want to be at a party and hear every song be cut in. I don't want to hear a song be like,
you're right,
boom, like that's cool, that's cool, But like if I'm in a party grooving, I want to hear straight blend, rhythm, mix,
keep the beat going,
keep the energy riding. Like you can cut into it and do all that, but like don't just like get in, get out, get in, get out.
No, I hear you.
The vibe is different.
There's definitely a time and place for everything. You know what I mean? That's what it is too. Like we're older heads.
Even these top 40 songs I be doing, man. I'll be blending them from a long point and make a remix out of it. It's just the ear and the courage to trust yourself.
Exactly. And feel the music.
Yeah.
The best DJs just feel the music.
Just feel the energy.
You know what I mean? All right. So I think the listeners know that we can sit here and talk about DJing music for a good while. We get lost in that, you know what I mean? So let's let them get to know Bill's skills a little bit. You know, DJ Bill's skills that they hear on the radio all the time. What's a favorite activity of yours if you're not DJing, you know, and doing your thing?
I sometimes feel like, you know, with the DJing, I feel like I transform. Because like on the everyday, I'm just like a boring ass person that's home with his kids. I love being home with my boys. We'll shoot hoops out front. I'm an old school dude, so I play 2K. I play PlayStation and stuff like that. Watch Netflix and stuff like that. But mostly I'm just chilling with the boys and playing PlayStation.
Got you. So I know the answer to this question, but tell the people what your favorite sport is.
Basketball. All day. All day.
And I want to ask you a couple questions about basketball, just recent, you know, occurrences been going on. So, what's your take on the whole Golden State and the Dream Team type assembly? What's your take? What's the minute take on that?
Well, first of all, since I am old school, like basketball was my first love. Like I'm from the '90s era. That's kind of like taboo. Jumping on Dream Team, creating. So I kind of like don't really like how people are jumping on teams. It used to be like you showed love for your team and made it work. But you know, at the same time, I guess it's good to see like, you know, that all-star team to come together.
Yeah, I mean it's
fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, but like it's kind of not always a challenge.
Right, it's sort of fun to watch, right? Like we're kind of watching just to see them lose.
It's not fair, though.
You know what I mean? It's
really
like you want to see them lose now because it just seems unfair. Almost like the whole Yankees thing. You know, they want to see the Yankees and the Patriots lose. You know what I mean? Because they win all the time. You know what I mean? But my take on that is the Dream Team, the original Dream Team, was assembled an Olympic team to go against the rest of the world.
Yeah, and that was just like an exhibition, not a league team.
Cannibalize ourselves. You know what I mean? That wasn't the idea.
It was to show the world these are the greatest players of all time.
And you're not messing with it.
And we're going around the world. It's not playing like for seasons.
And when they did it, they weren't just barely beating people. You know what I mean? They were thumping everybody. You know, the recent times with the USA basketball team, they're not even as good as what Golden State put together. It's amazing.
But it's also a totally different game. Like if you watch the 90s and the Knicks and the fouling and the Jordan rules and all that other stuff, you know, you could foul, it was physical. God forbid you took 5 threes in a game back in the 90s.
You look at the ball.
Look at Larry Bird. We grew up with Larry Bird, who was like one of the best 3-point shooters. I don't think Larry took more than 5 threes in a game. You got players now, they're taking like half of their shots are all threes, and nobody like really takes it to the paint. They're jacking up. Like it's kind of boring. But like that's what they're teaching all these kids. You go to parks now. Back in the day, kids were trying to shake and bake and dunk. Kids always are going to want to dunk. But like now you see the Currys, everybody's pulling up. I play in the CYO leagues. Shot. Everybody's a three.
Everybody's in the corner.
I don't care. There's no centers anymore. Everybody want to pull up on a 3.
So tell me, let's talk about a little food. I'm going to get hungry. It's getting close to lunchtime. So I like to ask it like this, though. You know, you can only eat one thing that day. So you know you're going to be hungry. You know, what's that favorite plate of food that you're going to have? And knowing that you're not going to have nothing else, but you're going to go in on this plate, whatever you want.
You see, I'm slender, so I'm not a huge and eating person. But
he eats a lot, though.
I certain spots. I don't know, man. I'm a big taco guy, honestly.
You're doing a big thing with tacos?
I'm not a big like food person, honestly. Like my favorite food is tacos.
Okay.
I know you can't go in heavy on tacos.
Like beef tacos?
Yeah. You know, not Taco Bell's because there's like all lettuce. I want a real one with some meat and a little bit of lettuce and all that stuff. Crunchy. I don't like the soft tacos.
Okay. Yeah, me too. Yeah. Okay. So
I can't lie.
So your plate of food would be a bunch of 10.
Yeah, just give me a whole bunch of tacos.
Hot sauce.
What is it? The 12-pack at Taco Bell, but make them my way. You know.
What's the deal though with sauce? Hot, mild, no sauce?
I like mild, guacamole, sour cream. Just don't make it all lettuce. I just want more meat. That's really all it is.
That's the main beef?
I have gone back and been like, dude, like, what is in here? They're like, oh, we measure it. And I'm like, well, you're measuring it wrong, man. This is not...
I'm a trouble, but sorry.
I was like, no.
All right, so... You spoke a little bit about this, so I'm gonna eliminate an answer from your pool of answers, and that is you can't say home. Okay, so I want you to think of. I pose this question a bunch of different ways to different people, but the way I pose it to you is, what's a favorite place of yours to go when you just want to just be in your own feelings, think, you know what I mean?
My radio show.
Yeah.
Honestly, but if it wasn't like my radio show is kind of escapism where you're still presenting a show, but it's like at the end of the day, it's just like me and my thoughts of music. But then as another place would be like any event that like Vassar Hip Hop 101 or it doesn't have to be a place, but just any place where all my friends are at.
Okay.
That I don't get to see, and it's like, because I don't like going out too many places. You know, I'm still old school, but if it's anything that's at a function. Shout out to the Vinyl Room that does things and all our people comes through. That's like some of my favorite fun time. When my people come out.
Okay, I like it. I like it. That's why I asked you that way. So we were talking a little bit before about like pet peeves and like lines of advice, or another way to say it too would be like a motto. You know, is there any of that like that is keeps you on the course that you're on as a person, on your own morals, in your own life, as a dad, as a husband? Like, is there some like basic motto that you're living by?
Just not fail. And always work hard. Let me think.
Best foot forward type deal.
Yeah, you know, like, and if you're like, you know, not like everybody like. And another thing is, like, nobody said it was going to be easy. That's one thing somebody told me that I kind of, like, nobody said life was going to be easy.
Right.
So, like, just to work hard and not get down, you know, always push forward, try not to complain, you know, and just, like, everybody's life is tough. So, like, just push forward and then you never know what other people are going through.
Right.
Like, you never know what's going on in somebody else's life. So, like, never judge on, like, oh, well, their life is good, and let me this and that. You never know, so always be like, you know, like you say, treat people the way you want to be treated. You never know what's going on in their life. Right.
No, I can respect that. I could definitely respect that. They might not know. On the radio show, you get a lot of drops. Like, you'll hear people shouting out Bill Skillz and 91.3 VKR.
The music just turns me on.
You know, well, that stuff.
Can you dig it?
That stuff. But I'm saying you'll hear, like like recorded drops from people, and there's some like famous people in there that you've gotten drops from. I wanted to ask you, tell us a story about a time that you got a famous drop, you know, that you can recall, you can tell the people about that. They may hear it, like the one I want you to tell them about is the Greg Nice one.
That was,
you know, and then
that was the best drop
it.
probably Yeah. So that's how my like show came about. I didn't have all the technology to do things, so my first drops were either radio show, like people would call in and I would record it and I'd put it on my MP and I'd chop it up and I'd make a drop. And but then I would go to events, anywhere I was, I would record, get them to do drops for me. The Greg Nice was probably my favorite, but there's been some newer ones that have come up where I'm like, man, they've kind of made their way in.
Okay.
But we did a, Greg Nice came through with the Legion, shout out to Chucky Smash, the whole Legion crew. Black Sheep came up, and that was another good one too, but Greg Nice was there, and if y'all know Greg Nice, he's like one of the most infamous with like his voice and stuff.
Yeah.
And he gave me a regular drop, and then he drops and he's like, let's take it back to the old school. Let's take it to Union Square. Let's take it back to 91.3. Greg Nice is up in here. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And my friends were standing around next to us. We were like, did you just hear that?
Yeah, yeah.
That was like on a record.
Yeah.
I was like, that was
great.
That was, oh my God.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
Yeah. No, it's cool because, like, you know, we hear it all the time, you know, so you don't know the story behind the drop. You know, so what's some of the recent ones you got that you said you like?
One of the best ones recently was Stretch Armstrong.
Oh, yeah.
From Stretch and Bobbito.
Yeah.
That was awesome because of the fact of the conversation I had with him where I was telling him, like, you know, I've had a show for like 25 years, and he's one of the people that I look up to because he formed the, like, college radio scene.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the 90s.
They own that.
That was huge.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where, like, all these other college radio stations spawned up from doing hip-hop. So, you know, me doing it for like 25 years, I'm telling him, you know, I'm kind of like, I look up to you for, like, how long you did it. And he was like, oh, well, don't. Like, he didn't almost want to, like, you know, I would suggest you not do college radio for 25 years because you don't get paid and stuff like that. But I was like, nah, I live close to home. I love it. It's such a different experience than other things. And then he gave me a drop, like, you know, the longest running show in hip-hop, like, history. And I was like, coming from Stretch, I was like,
that's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's definitely cool.
That's really awesome.
You had a... was it you that was telling me about an encounter with Big Daddy Kane when he came up? You was trying to get the drop from him. Tell the people about that story.
He was breaking out with the quickness. Some guys, you know, they do shows and they don't hang as much.
There's an infamous picture of Monster and I watching Big Daddy Kane from the balcony.
Yeah, big shout out to Jay Leno on that one too. So, like, I wanted to get a drop from him, and I'm playing the wall outside of his dressing room for after he perform, thinking he's gonna hang.
Yeah.
And we see him, like, dip out the side door, and we're like, what? So we, like, start running down the stairs. I get outside, and I happen to see him. Some other people happen to be outside already, so they slowed him down and stopped him. So I came up to him, and I was like, yo, you know, can I get a drop? He gives me a drop, but then, like, the picture, I had my camera with me, and my man Leno was there. I was like, yo, can I get a... He was like, yo, let me take a picture. And I was like, yeah. So he takes a picture. And then I turn around and, like, try and get a picture with Leno for him, and Kane is out. And I was like, oh, I feel so bad. I was like, because I didn't even get the picture for Leno. But, like, that was a good one. I'll give you another one. It was my best, but my worst at the same time. Doing a show opening for, like, large Lord Finesse, Diamond D, the whole Digging in the Crates crew.
Oh, that was at TBR.
No, this was back in the early days in the 90s. I did a show at BB King's or somewhere.
Okay.
For Legion.
Okay.
And we were opening for Digging in Crates crew.
Gotcha.
I was kind of starstruck when I saw Diamond D.
Yeah.
And really didn't pursue.
Yeah.
I got drops from AG, and then Lord Finesse had come down. And it's funny to top into Monster because I was talking to Jazzy J, the legend, and he turns around and he's talking to somebody, and it's Lord Finesse, and I'm like, oh, shoot. And he was like, you know about Record City? We're talking about Record City. And he goes, and Finesse comes out, like, yeah, I've been to Record City. So shout out to Record City, Monstar.
Yeah.
And I get this great drop from him. I get in the car, and I'm, like, driving home, and I'm, like, listening to all the other drops, and I'm like, where's Finesse?
Yeah.
And I'm still listening. I'm like, I didn't press record.
Oh, wow.
And I was like so heartbroken. But thanks to the Vinyl Room, he came back years later, and I was able to catch back up.
Yeah,
so.
I got a great flick with Lord Finesse.
Oh, that was awesome.
I got a great
they killed it. OC. Yeah, it was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that was really cool. I actually met. I was with Killmeyer in Atlantic City, and I met Jazzy J.
I know, right?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You got to come down with us.
We definitely gonna come through, man.
You got to come through because I think you see some of those legendary DJs who. Admittedly, I don't know who they are when I walk by.
My first year I did go. I have gone.
You know.
And the first time I went, it was Jazzy J, Grand Wizard Theodore.
Yeah, man.
Grand Mixer DXT.
Yeah, I didn't.
Those are all the legends.
Yeah.
And I drug everybody. I was like, we
Isn't
are
that crazy?
going.
I'm in the same space with Jazzy J and Theodore. You know what I mean? Like shaking.
These
their hands,
are the reason why
I got a
we are
picture
DJs.
with them. I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, good
thing.
stuff. You need to come down there though.
Yeah,
next
I got
time.
to come.
It's always around wifey's birthday, so it's always like a celebration.
Little
you know,
vacay.
it's a little extra. You know,
Yeah, a little something extra for the family.
Yeah. So, all right. So we've talked about you performing at different places, doing your radio show for 25 years, doing all these weddings. You come across a lot of people. You know, the show has a little. You know, it gets recognized in the area. I think people know about Vassar College Radio and the Digging in the Crate show. So I know I still get hit. Bill Skillz is white.
Word.
You know, I got that all the way up until Facebook Live came out.
Once it got digital, and once you started,
once they started, and then that kind of stopped.
Ghostface. When the game got revealed, when the face got revealed, the game got real.
Yeah,
Word.
You know, but interesting. But anyway, off of that. But
never judge a book by its cover. That's another thing too, man. You never know.
You never know. You never know. But what I'm getting at though is, there had to have been a time in the last 30 years where you kind of felt famous or felt like a star. Can you reflect back and like tell us a story about one time?
Probably like the first time, you know, I was out and about. Like I've always heard stories like people saying, "Oh, they through third person, you know the radio show." But the first time I think it was the first time I did Quinn's, and the first time I came out and did. I started doing Digging in the Crates Radio Roadshow, where I do what I do on the show and I bring it to the spots like that. Mm-hmm. And Quinn's was the first place that brought me out, and people that listen came out. Mm-hmm. Like I'd see people from all different towns that it felt like my coming out party because everybody was like, "Let me take a picture with you." Yeah. Let me just hang. And it was the first time I'd come out the house to do anything in a spot, and like. People came.
They responded.
They came out. I was like, wow. I was like, really? They brought their kid with them or something like that. I was like, wow.
Yeah. That's
pretty impressive.
Cool. I think I went to that.
You did?
One.
Yeah, you did. It was dope.
Because it's so close.
But I have stories of like people saying like their kids grew up listening with me, and like their kids are like now like, you know, older, and like, you know, they would be like 3 and 5 growing up on my music and stuff, and now they're like graduating high school and stuff, and like that makes me feel like really good.
Yeah, no doubt.
Weddings, we drop weddings, and we'll do once in a while, you know, I'll be working with Gabriel, and we'll be like, you know, shout out to the DJ Bill Skillz, and some of those too are like, did you just say like Bill Skillz?
Yeah.
They're like Digging in the Crates Bill Skillz, and I'll be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like now, like the wedding that we do, MSV shout out, the worlds collide.
Yeah.
So, you know, before you only knew me here, now I do weddings and people hear me shout out it, but now I'll be at weddings, and if you say my name, somebody will be like, wait, really? Yeah. And then they'll come up and they'll like, oh man, I've been listening to you since college, and I'll be like,
yeah,
wow.
I can confirm that because that definitely has happened to me where, you know, because I do happen to be the best MC around, but when I do introduce him, I've had people come up to me and be like, is that Bill Skillz from the radio?
Yeah.
You know, from that
like,
Sunday show? And I'm, you know, yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, and I see them go over to you. You know, so it does happen to them.
Yeah, it's
out
crazy.
There, you know, they're like, oh man, that's really cool.
Yeah.
You know,
the last wedding we had, which shout out to our man Henry.
Yeah.
One of his friends came up like the last 5 minutes. He's like, you know, you Bill Skillz, and like I've been listening to you since college, and you know, they're out of college now. And then next thing you know, like like 8 people came up,
Yeah.
and they were like, we all been listening since school, and
Yeah.
like it was a posse of people, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff.
Like, it's not one, this is like a posse of people, and
Yeah.
like they're all here, and I was like, huh.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. But
Yeah.
yeah, you're definitely being heard, you know.
Yeah,
You're
no, I appreciate it.
definitely being heard. So the station is 91.3 WVKR.
Absolutely.
The show is Digging in the Crates. It's on Sundays 12 to 3. Almost every Sunday.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you let them know when you're not going to be on? Or you
Through
just-
Facebook or something like that, I'll
okay.
try and tell them, but you know,
It's pretty consistent,
yeah,
though.
I've been there for 25 years. You know, now I miss a little bit more on weekends than normal, but I always put people on that I know are going to represent.
Can rock it.
Can rock it.
Yeah.
If not, it's college radio, so I get some.
Whoever's up next.
Some staffer, get it on.
Get it in.
Yep.
So that's a good point and a good transition to just look into the camera, Bill, and just tell them where they can find you, where they can hear you, if they need to contact you, if they want you. Maybe they don't know they can hire you for gigs and stuff, so let them know.
It's your man, Bill Skillz, Digging in the Crates, 91.3 every Sunday from 12 to 3. We also have Mixcloud. You can check me out on Mixcloud. It's DJ Bill Skillz, and that's BILLSKILLZ. I got shows on there. Also, you can check me out, Bill Skillz, on Instagram. You know, just around the way.
Do you have a Facebook page for just?
I don't have an artist page.
You don't
I
have-
don't. Nah.
We're gonna fix that.
Yeah.
I think we should fix that.
It's on the personal level, but you know.
Yeah.
My kids be telling you need to get the artist page and popping. I'm like, you know what I'm saying?
But the point is, you can contact him, DJ Bill Skillz, on Instagram. And if you need him to do a gig or something, you know, reach out on the business side. Yeah, you know. But Bill, man, I hope this ain't the last time you come on.
Oh man, we always got
Finally got him on. But thank you for coming. You know,
Always.
I appreciate you. Next thing might be like a roundtable discussion about some hip hop stuff. So you know, you're
We always got
cordially
a lot to talk about.
yeah, you're cordially invited to that. So you know, probably Monster will be on the panel.
Love to chop it up.
Yeah, we'll get it in. We got some young cats in there so they can talk their Tekashi nonsense. You know,
We'll be arguing for days.
Yeah, we'll take it from there. But that is our show. It's Voice of the Valley, episode 18. It doesn't stop out here. You know what I'm
Word up.
saying? So I am Gabriel. He is DJ Bill Skillz, Voice of the Valley, Finally TV. Let's go.
Peace.